Hey guys, Heathway here, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to bring you guys the ultimate trading and investing guide for Bundesliga Player of the Month from the month of October. I'm also going to be showing you guys my predictions for the players who are most likely to win the award. And if you guys invest in the players I'll show you in this video, you will make yourself thousands and thousands of coins. It's as simple as that. So if you guys do enjoy the video, if you do, don't forget to leave a like on it. Let's try and smash 250 likes. That would be much appreciated. Also, if you guys are new around here, don't forget to subscribe. And without further ado, let's go on into it. So starting off with the predictions, I've picked out a total of 7 players, all of whom had a very good month of October and therefore stand a good chance of potentially winning Player of the Month for October. I'm going to be focusing my investments on 3 of those players in particular, and they're the 3 who I think stand the biggest chance of being crowned October Player of the Month and will therefore have more hype around them, and the cards will go up more in price, making me more profit. So we start off with Hakimi. I thought he was worthy of an inclusion, having picked up a hat-trick of assists throughout the month, which for a defender is very impressive. He was also solid defensively, and his side Borussia Dortmund have been flying at the top of the Bundesliga, destroying every team they come up against. They've just been so good, and for that reason we do also have 2 more players from the club included within the predictions. Next up, we've got Thorgan Hazard from Borussia Mönchengladbach. He got 3 goals and 2 assists, as did several other players this month. The reason he's slightly lower down compared to them is just because Borussia Mönchengladbach haven't had that amazing of a month as a side, as they only won 1 game. They drew 1 and lost 1 as well. However, that win did come against Bayern Munich, and for that reason they're currently second in the table, which is very impressive. Next up, we've got Haller from FC Mainz. He picks up also 3 goals and 2 assists. The reason I've put him slightly higher up is just because of the magnitude of those goals. They've been so important to bring Mainz out of the relegation zone, and playing for a slightly lesser side, I think it's more of a feat to get that number of goals and assists, but still definitely a player who is worthy of inclusion within this list. Next up is Jayden Sandro. Now, he didn't quite do as well as the previous 2 players in terms of stats, getting 3 goals and only 1 assist compared to 2 of the other players. However, the reason he's this high up is just because of how good his performances have been. Regardless of goals and assists, his dribbling, his passing, just his general play has been so impressive. And bearing in mind that he's only 18 years old, I 100% think he deserves to be included within the list, and maybe could be even higher up. I think a lot of people will vote for him, given that the public vote does play quite a large part in this, because he's such a hyped player right now. He is the man of the moment in the Bundesliga, and I'm sure a lot of us would love to see a Player of the Month card. He already has an inform with 5-star skill moves, and this card would be very nice. Next up, we've got another player from Borussia Mönchengladbach, and that is Hoffman. He got 3 goals and 2 assists. The reason he's this high up is because he's a centre mid, so I think that makes it even more impressive. You don't typically see midfielders scoring as much as forwards, and I think it had been quite some time since he last scored a goal, and he scored a hat-trick in 1 game, and then he got 2 assists against Bayern Munich in a 2-0 win, which is extremely impressive. So I think he definitely deserves to be included within the list. Next up is Paco Al Katha. Now, he is the 2nd top scorer of the month with 4 goals. Now, if you take into account the total goal involvements, that isn't quite as good as some of the other players here who have 5 with their 2 assists and 3 goals. But having 4 goals in a side like Borussia Dortmund, who've been so good, he's their top scorer throughout the month. I think he definitely did merit an inclusion here. But I don't see any of these players beating Jovovich. The reason for that is he got 6 goals and 1 assist, which is absolutely crazy. What's even more crazy is that he scored 5 of those goals in 1 game. And if you guys saw the game, which I did, it was crazy. He scored some amazing goals. Literally every goal he scored in that game was a very high quality goal. He scored like a really nice flick. Just really good finishes throughout, and I think with 6 goals and an assist, that's a total of 7 goal involvements, considerably more than anyone else here. I just don't really see anyone else beating him. Potentially someone like Sancho could, just because of the hype with the public vote. A lot of people would probably vote for someone like that, especially for FIFA reasons too. I know a lot of people who vote for Player of the Month vote for the player that they'd most like to see use maybe an Ultimate Team. They vote for it more kind of on FIFA rather than in real life performances. So maybe for that reason Sancho could get a lot of votes. But for me, I don't think anyone deserves it more than Jovovich, because his goals have been very important. He scored a lot of them. He's got an assist as well, and he's playing for a lesser side than Borussia Mönchengladbach or Borussia Dortmund, and he still managed to perform very well. So for me, he's the standout player, and I think he's the favourite. I don't see anyone else winning, although there is a slight chance someone like Al Katha, Sancho or Hoffman potentially could. Maybe some of the other players here, but for me, it's got to be Jovovich. So let me know down below who you think is the favourite for October Player of the Month. So moving on to the investments for the 3 favourites for October Player of the Month, in my opinion, who are Jovovich, Hoffman and Al Katha. It's important to cover a variety of different options, and that's exactly what we've got with these investments here. You want to cover the previous clubs of the players, the clubs they played against throughout the month, and then their league and nation as well. So we're going to start off with the basics, and that is high rated players from the Bundesliga. Anyone from 86 down to 82 is a good investment. Take a look at Footbin, I'll leave a link down below, and they show the cheapest players for specific ratings. And if you see any cards from the Bundesliga, make sure you pick them up, because regardless of who wins, you will need Bundesliga cards, so they are some very, very safe investments. I'd also recommend getting some Bundesliga informs. There are loads and loads of very cheap ones, someone like Finn Bogerson or Stark, for example. There's so many cards near discard price. I believe there's a Dutch striker as well from Wolfsburg you can potentially pick up in the current team of the week. So many good cards. Just get maybe 1 or 2 informs from the Bundesliga and a couple of those higher rated cards as well. Hold off on getting some of them, especially the Germans though, until the SBC for Mario Götze ends, which I believe has 2 more days to go, because some cards are a little bit overinflated because of that. You also want to cover the players' nations. So for the favourites that I've just mentioned, that would be for Jovovich, you have to go with Serbia. So you've got lots of high rated cards you can pick up there. Just look on the market, get some cards for around 1 to 2k that are around 80 rated or higher. You also want to cover Spain for Paco Al Katha and Germany for Hoffman. And if you guys feel maybe someone like Sancho could potentially stand a chance of winning, you can go that way and you can get yourself some English players. If you think Haller could maybe win, you can get some French players. You guys get the idea. Once you've done that, you want to go and take a look at those players' clubs as well. So get some high rated players from Mainz, get some high rated players from Dortmund, and get some high rated cards from Borussia Mönchengladbach. Very, very easy. And next up, we've got some more kind of specific investments actually focusing in on these players. So we start off with the favourite Jovovich, and you want to cover his previous club, which is Benfica. So go ahead and pick up a couple of cards from Benfica. Pretty simple, just get some highest rated ones. Someone like Jardel is perfect. You also want to cover obviously the other players here. So Paco Al Katha, he played for Valencia, then moved on to Barcelona. He's currently on loan from them. So you get a couple of high rated cards from both of those teams there. Very, very easy. And then finally we've got Hoffman. So pick up Kramaric, someone like him, playing for Hoffenheim. That's one of his previous clubs. He also used to play for Borussia Dortmund, and he also played for Mainz right there. And you guys have got a lot of investments here that cover a variety of options, and they're the best types of investments. So someone like Toprak, he plays for Dortmund, the same club as Paco Al Katha, also the same club as Hakimi and Sancho. And he's also a player who plays for one of the previous clubs of Hoffman, and he's quite a high rated player in the Bundesliga, so that's a perfect type of investment there. Same as someone like Kagawa, for example. So high rated players from Dortmund are ideal investments. Also Latza, or just another player like this, just a gold card really from Mainz, is a very nice investment, as he plays for one of the previous clubs of one of the players here, in this case Hoffman. And he also plays for the current club of the favourite, Jovovich. So you may need like a full team of players from Mainz. So getting Mainz players, I think, is a very, very safe investment. You can get them for like 500-600 coins, and they've got the potential to go up to maybe 3 or 4k. So some very safe ones there. And then you also want to cover the variety of teams these guys have played against throughout the month. So we start off down here with Jovovich. Now he played against Augsburg, Hertha Berlin and Stuttgart, so you can cover those options there. We've then got Al Katha, obviously Sancho and all the other Dortmund players played against the same teams. They played against Mainz. Again, we've covered Mainz. That is a team that is going to be really good for investing, as I said, because that's the side that Jovovich obviously plays for. You also want to go ahead and get yourself some Borussia Mönchengladbach players, as that is one of the sides that Dortmund played throughout the month, but it's also a side that Hoffman currently plays for. And if you get someone like Hazard, for example, he's also quite a high rated player in his position in the Bundesliga. So again, you're covering multiple options, which is always good. And they also played against Hertha Berlin, and that is a side that Jovovich also played against. So getting Hertha Berlin players is a very safe investment there. And then finally, we have got Hoffman, and he played against, again, as you guys can see, Mainz. So I mean, it's looking very, very good. If you want to get some Mainz players, you can make a lot of coins potentially there. He also played against Bayern Munich, where he played a very key role in that game, getting 2 assists, and they also played against Freiburg too. So a variety of different teams. If you guys get some gold cards from these for cheap prices, store them in your club. You can sell them in the hype, or you can sell them when the SBC is released. It's up to you. The main ones to go for, I'd say pick up lots of Mainz players, get some Borussia Borussia Mönchengladbach players, and also pick yourself up a few Hertha Berlin players, as that way you're covering a variety of options. And if there are any high rated players who play for these clubs, always worth picking them up. So someone like Gnabry, for example, or Sula would be a perfect investment from Bayern Munich, again at covering a variety of options. Someone like Javi Martinez is another good one, as he covers the Spanish route for Al Katha, and he also covers the high rated Bundesliga route, and he also covers the Bayern Munich route. So a lot of options there. And they're the types of investments you want to look out for, players who cover multiple options, because that way, regardless of who wins, they will probably be required and will therefore rise up in price, and they will rise up more in the hype as well before the SBC is released. So if you guys do want to sell in the hype, which I always recommend, then you can make more coins. So there we go, pretty simple investments really. The simplest and safest ones are high rated players from the Bundesliga and inform cards from the Bundesliga. You can also cover the nations of these players as well, and for those types of cards I'd probably recommend selling them in the hype, or at least selling the majority, maybe like 70% of your cards in the hype, and keeping a few in case they are required for an SBC. Also cover the previous clubs of these players, cover the teams they played against in the month, and yeah, you're good to go. You can make a lot of coins by doing that. It is up to you as well. As I said, you can sell in the hype, or you can sell when the SBC is released. If there's a certain player, if you think maybe Jovovich, who I personally think stands the best chance of winning, if you think someone stands a really good chance of being crown player of the month, you can keep those cards, and maybe if you want to complete the SBC, you'll be able to do it a little bit cheaper, or you might be able to sell your cards for more. But if you're really not sure who's going to win, or if you have cards from a lot of these different players, you can just sell in the hype and make safe coins without really having any risk. But anyway, hope you guys did enjoy the video. Leave a like on it if you did. Let me know down below who you think will win Bundesliga Player of the Month for October, and I'll catch you guys later. Take care.